Hello. Good afternoon. Yeah, you know what time it is. Yeah, it is. I'm just sitting here rocking. I've got tea that matches my shirt in my water bottle. I have my tea time cup. I have my iPad on, and I'm gonna pour us a cup of tea. I wish you were here to join me, but you are at your place. We'll get it done. Tea is brewed, and I'm just sitting here enjoying the afternoon. Let's see, maybe we'll get some birds today. Yeah, maybe we'll get some birds today. They're busy. That's a hummingbird flying overhead. Can y'all see it? He's just going back and forth and back and forth. Right over it. He does not like that I'm here. He's flying over me. He's trying to bomb me. Yeah, he's trying to bomb me. There's Amy. Hey, Amy. So get on in here. We might have some excitement with the birds. Being dive bombed. I'm keeping my watch out by the hummingbirds. Yeah, it's not happy at all. Maybe if I put this other AirPod in, you can hear it. Anyway, we'll see. Just a pleasant afternoon. A little breezy, but it's a warm breeze. And I'm taking some me time. If y'all don't have any of our new tea, you need to get some. That stuff is amazing. Whew, just take a few minutes to sit and relax and maybe think about next week, but you don't have to. You don't have to think about next week. Many people are going back to work, but you still got to do some social distancing and wear your mask when you need to. But I don't think you need to wear a mask in the car when you're riding to town, riding to your job, if you're going to your job. Justin said he was driving the interstate the other day in Knoxville and people had their mask on in their cars. And I said, well, maybe they put their mask on so they wouldn't forget to wear it. Just part of their morning routine, put their mask on and go. What kind of tea am I drinking? This is our Wise Women's Tea. It's on our website. Leanne and I developed this tea. I'll never forget. They sent us some tea, and it was not what we ordered. And Leanne and I got on the phone with the guy, and we said we want 1 part of black tea, 1 part of Earl Grey, and 1 part green tea. 3 different kinds of tea in 1 bag, and that's finally what we got. And it is amazing. And I keep it in my little water bottle, which keeps things hot as well as cold, and I drink on it till bedtime. Yeah, good. Glad you're here, Jennifer. Glad you're here. So come on in. Maybe we'll see some birdies if I haven't made them mad. I was dive bombed by a hummingbird. Yep. That's funny. That is so funny. The trees are getting green and you can't see much of a view today through this camera. It's just not much of a view at all. Let me see if I can raise it up there. But the view is kind of right behind me and it's a bit hazy. we can actually see Looking Glass Rock from here. If those of you who are familiar with western North Carolina, Looking Glass Rock is like this big thumb sort of sticking out of the earth. It's a pluton. It's a granite pluton, sort of bubbled up from the bowels of the earth. And it had a forest on it. And then long time ago, it burned. It burned, and then all the dirt sloughed off of it. Yeah, we have a lovely little neck of the woods in western North Carolina. When I first moved up here, it was in October of 1994, and I just felt closed in because I grew up in Flatland in West Tennessee, and to move to western North Carolina and to not be used to the mountains, the hills, the valleys, the gorges, the least little thing. Oh, y'all, you're not gonna believe this. My flame azalea is getting ready to bloom. Yeah, it is. It's right there. Let me see if I can turn things around so you can see it. It's in the light in the center of the picture. It's a light green, and it has little orange blossoms on it. It's not in full bloom yet. It's not in full bloom. But it will be, and I'll get a good picture of it. So let's put us back on the stand without me calling 911. Yep, I've tried to do that twice today. Tried to call 911 twice today because there's a button on the side of your phone. It's your on and off button. And if you hold it down, it calls 911 on an iPhone. Yeah, it does. Oh, what kind of sound is that? This is some wind chimes my sister gave me. They're right beside me. Aren't they beautiful? Let's see if I can get, there they are. They don't blow much, but they make it nice. They have algae growing on them. They stay out here winter and summer. They kind of like they're sort of like a wind gauge. It tells me how fast the wind's blowing. I have another one on the corner of the house over here, and the wind has to be up about 35 miles an hour for them to blow. And I'm turning my whole stand instead of moving the phone. Anyway, wind chimes are nice, birds are nice. I could just sit and rock out here all afternoon. I even had a nap earlier today. Yeah. Yep, I had a nap for about an hour. I snuggled up on the couch, and there's a cat right under me, sound asleep. In the tassels. The cat loves being out here, and he hides under this table. Whew. So y'all, drink your tea. So let's think about next week. Next week we are in Zone 2. Zone 2 is our kitchen. Now today I have shredded up all remnants of bread in my kitchen. I had some croutons that I had made and some buns, and I stuck them all in the food processor and made breadcrumbs, which I'm going to put in the freezer. Yeah, when you feel nap time sleeping, don't fight it. Just go take a little cat nap. Cat naps are good for you, especially on a Sunday afternoon. They're just really fun. And my tea is, sometimes you get tea too hot or it's too cold, but I feel like Goldilocks today because my tea is just right. So next week we're in zone 2, and I'm going to be doing some detailed cleaning in my gadget drawer. And I'm not going to dump the whole gadget drawer out on the table, on the counter. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take a few things out of there that I no longer use. Yep. So we're in zone 2, but Leanne and I are also, we're jumping back on the bandwagon when it comes to the hot melt sprint. So go to savingdinner.com /hot melt /sprint. That's all you gotta do is put /sprint on savingdinner.com, and she'll give you everything you need to get started with a hot. Our focus this week is to set up a system of where we have a little cup of broth, and you can put some sprouts in there. Broccoli sprouts are just amazing. You can put some spinach leaves. You can do lots of lovely things with your broth to give you just a little satiation before you start your meal. And then you have a little bit of salad, a small 4 ounces of protein, and a vegetable. A good healthy vegetable, a green vegetable preferably. Green leafy vegetables are good. And Donna's cooking her bone broth now. Good for you. Good for you. But bone broth is just amazing. I have some in my refrigerator right now that I made, and it is so luscious. It's gelatinous, and it's got all the good proteins in it, and it's really good for you. So a few green onions, and you can make a lovely little appetizer soup to get you going. Sometimes you can have it for lunch during the day, so bone broth is really good for you. Paper is always a problem. Even in the kitchen, paper is a problem, because once upon a time I gave a challenge for everybody to get rid of one cookbook in your kitchen. And I want you to know, the group of ladies we had at that time practically mutinied. I mean, practically mutinied, because they didn't like to get rid of one of their cookbooks. I rarely utilize a cookbook anymore. Now, Robert does. He loves his cookbooks. I almost gave away one of his cookbooks once upon a time. When I first started decluttering, I decluttered a bunch of cookbooks. There's a plane flying over. We haven't seen many of those. And decluttered one of his cookbooks, and one day he said to me, "Where's my blue cookbook?" He said, "That's my cookie cookbook." Go away. That's not good. Siri, go away. Siri came on. And it's probably going to come back on since I hollered at it. But anyway, luckily I had put the box of cookbooks in the car, in my truck, and I was able to go out there and rescue the cookbook I almost threw away that was his. So don't declutter your husband's stuff, because you don't know what it means to him. Big bird alert. Big bird. So I have about 10 cookbooks now. And one of them is my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, the red chicken one. We've all got those. They can teach you how to make just about anything. And the rest of my recipes, if I'm looking for a recipe, if I can't find it from Leanne, I'm looking on, I'm just doing a Google search. The other day I needed a recipe for apple Betty. Yeah, apple Betty or an apple something. I had some dried apples that were getting a little bit older than I like for them to be, and I wanted to make an sort of an apple cobbler out of them, and found a recipe, and it turned out. I'm looking around for the bird because I hear it. Yeah, I hear it. Pinterest is good for recipes too. And Pinterest has a lot of keto recipes. A lot of keto recipes. So Leanne and I we're getting rid of gluten. We've had a month of baking, and we decided that we're not bakers. No, it was fun, and I know I can do it if I want to. And I have a sourdough starter in my refrigerator right now, but I think I'm going to dry it and freeze it. Yep, lay it out, let it dry, and then I can just rehydrate it. I hear a plane, hear a bird, hear a breeze. Yeah, some books are like old friends. Who is Leanne? Leanne is my best friend. She lives right up the mountain from me. She moved here. I followed her all over, or she's gone all over the country, and we keep up with each other. But last summer, she surprised me at our home last May, the end of May, I think it was. And I'm doing a show on the back deck, and she comes through the front door. And I'm on the back deck because she was watching me. And I think I had the front door open, and she walks through, and then while she's here for 3 days, she decides that she's going to go back to Boulder, Colorado, and see if Mark wants to move back to North Carolina, because Mark is from he's really from New York, but he raised his family in North Carolina. And by the end of July, they were here. They rented a house sight unseen. Only Robert and Justin and I had seen it. And they love it they got a better view than we have. I mean, they have an amazing view. It's a beautiful little house, and you can watch Leanne do her show from her house twice a day too. And the one thing we're realizing after being closed up, all of us in our homes for the last 6 weeks, many of you have gotten confident in your kitchen because you've had to cook. Yeah, you had to feed your family, and you had to cook if you were going to feed your family something. So we've learned to make pizza dough, and Leanne has taught us how to cook lots of wonderful things. Yesterday, she made a spatchcock chicken. She's getting it marinated, and can we have a link to Leanne's show? Her on Facebook, it's Saving Dinner. It's just facebook.com Saving Dinner. And so just do a search for Saving Dinner on Facebook, and you'll find Leanne. She does a show every single day, and we usually share it on our Facebook channel too. Now, I started yesterday putting a bunch of our videos on locals.com. Yeah, I put it up on locals.com. This is in the event that Facebook wants to censor me. I have a big mouth, and I'm going to tell you what I think. And in case they want to censor me, or YouTube wants to censor me, that's Leanne's website, savingdinner.com, but where she does her videos is over on her Facebook page, just like I do. Just like I do. Heather, I've gotten hooked into those cookbook clubs too many years ago, and I couldn't figure out, you could send the book back, but I would never send it back. Those kind of places prey on our sidetrackedness. They prey on us. So buying a cookbook outright is much better for me, much cheaper for me than to get involved in a cookbook of a month club. I really don't like the way they treat my babies, you know? So everybody drink up. Drink up. Oh, that just hits a spot. Yep, people are getting censored all over the place. And we live in a country in the United States of America. I live in the United States of America. Some of you may not. But I was taught that we have the ability, we have free speech here. Free speech. And that's a good thing. I may not like what you say, but I'll defend to the death your ability to say it. Yep, I will defend to the death your ability to say it. Now, Twitter, they are silencing a lot of people. I don't really do much on Twitter. I follow Scott Adams on Twitter and a couple of other people, but I don't really do much. I've never promoted our Twitter account. I just got buzzed by a hummingbird again. But censorship is rampant. Yeah. And it's not good. It's not good. I just finished reading Dave Rubin's book, Don't Burn This Book, and it was cute as it could be. I think everybody that wants to be in the human race should read his book because it'll teach you how to think for yourself. And we deserve to learn to think for ourselves. I don't take anybody at face value anymore. I just don't. I study. I learn myself. I teach myself. Even when we were little kids, Patty and I would teach ourselves things. And that's one thing I think children are missing now. There aren't books in the house. There are tablets, but there's not books that kids can pick up and look at. Like, say, an encyclopedia. We had World Book encyclopedias in our home. World Book encyclopedias in our home. Somebody's asking about Ben. Yeah, Justin went by and checked on him on Friday. And we had childcraft encyclopedias. And if you could get on eBay and buy your child a set of childcraft encyclopedias, oh my goodness. It's just amazing the things that they can learn. But having a set of encyclopedias in your home for a child to be able to pull an A encyclopedia. This is amazing. And an A encyclopedia. Just open it up and turn the pages and just read one thing after another. Patty and I used to do that all the time. And in our childcraft encyclopedia set, it's about 20 books, I think. About this many books. And they're little thin books. They're not heavy books. We taught ourselves sign language. We could talk to each other in church with sign language. We learned how to do that. You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. I don't know. But we taught ourselves how to do it. We taught ourselves. Now, we didn't learn much of what they do on TV. We didn't learn that sign language, but we learned how to spell. And it was kind of fun. We learned to do lots of things. And we were doing that before we could even read. Donna says she and her sister did the same thing. So having books in the house is powerful way to train your child's brain. Yeah, train your child's brain. One of the things that saddens me is when people turn their phones over to their toddlers. You know, they just give them their phone as a babysitter or their tablet as a babysitter. And this isn't good for our kids' brains. You just do a Google search on well, I use DuckDuckGo. I don't even use Google anymore. And it messes with their brains. So it's important for us to not let our little children have electronics. Not even a lot of TV is good either. So limiting screen time, and in Dave Rubin's book today, he said, you know, twice a year, put your phone away for a week. He does it at the end of summer, and he does it at the end of the year, and the week between Christmas and January 1st. And weekends without social media. And don't use social media as a way to keep your adrenaline up and pick fights. You know, I use social media to talk to you. I rarely, if somebody private messages me on Facebook, I usually talk to them. But I share things, but I don't pick fights with people. There was a hateful person the other day when my friend Will Cathy passed away. And she was a troll, just a troll. And saying ugly things about my husband's profession and about, which Robert isn't a lawyer anymore. He was a lawyer for 14 years and he was a judge for 20 years. And she was just saying terrible things about the law profession. And and I'm not even friends with her, but my whole profile is open to the world. And I said, why do you want to be so hateful? That's the worst thing I've ever said. Why do you want to be so hateful? And then I just erased it and blocked her. She can never see my profile again. She can never see my profile again. So that's the second time I've blocked her, because what she does is she goes and gets a different profile and she comes back. So there are bad people out there that do bad things, and you can't change those people. So you just have to ignore them. Learn to ignore them. As Heather says, haters are gonna hate. Some people are just hateful. But today's Sunday, and we're going to talk about the good things of how I have one friend, Miss Sharon, in Baltimore, Miss Sharon Petrowski, and she has had some near-death experiences, and her purpose for living is to uplift people. So she prays for people on Facebook. She prays for people, and she's taught me how to pray for people that are mean to me. And because we went to Texas together, Michelle and Miss Sharon and I drove to Texas one time together, and it was a lot of fun. And we listened to Joel Osteen all the way to Fort Hood and back, and it was fun. Just a girls' week on the road, and we had a ball. But she taught me how to pray for people who were being hateful, and how to uplift people and to do good things. So this is a fun way to live. It's a fun way to live, because you don't let people bother you. You don't let people bother you. It's kind of warm out here. Misery is as misery does. Somebody said I missed the Fort Hood. When was that? That was it was around my birthday in like 2016, I think. I'll find it. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was a fun time. Yep. It was right after the shooting they had there. It's right after the shooting. And I got called by the chaplain's office to come down. So I've been to Fort Hood and Fort Campbell 6 times, and Fort Stewart and down in eastern North Carolina at Fort. What's the one in eastern North Carolina? Fort. I can't think of it. It's just left me, but we've been to a lot of places. Fort Benning in Georgia. That was a lovely trip too, because we went by the butterfly place. We've just been to. We've been to someplace in Colorado. I got woodpeckers, y'all. I got woodpeckers. Yep, I got woodpeckers. There's a woodpecker right over there at that feeder. Do you see it? And there's a bird trying to, yeah, they're all over the place. I better be quiet. Fort Bragg, yes, Fort Bragg, that's it. So I spoke at Fort Bragg to 200 volunteers. They had a volunteer luncheon, and I was the entertainment. I was the entertainment, and at the time we only had there was a 5-star general in charge of the special forces, and he gave me his coin. So I have his coin. I'll have to show it to you sometime. He shook my hand and put that coin in my hand, and I told him, I said, I'm from the South. I give hugs, and everybody was shocked that I hugged the 5-star general. So, but he stole my microphone. Yep. Yeah, Fort Carson. So we've got to help a lot of military families. They suffer a lot of times. The spouse is deployed, and the one that's left at home is anxious about their spouse being deployed. And the spouse can't fix anything while they're deployed, and it puts a lot of stress on them. And so I help them. I help them get their homes in order. But then when their significant other gets home, then they have to learn to relinquish and let them back into the family, because mama or daddy can do it all by themselves if they have to. So it's a fine little mixture. I got the best testimonial I ever got was from a member of the military who was in charge of training the troops in Iraq after Iraq fell. And he would come home from being in Iraq for 6 weeks, and things were changed, and he was kind of scared as what was going on. Clutter was going away. His wife was sort of put together, and finally he noticed a lot of fly lady messages in the inbox, and he'd go back to Iraq, and he sent me this wonderful testimony that said, they didn't know how to, they couldn't have anybody over in that country. And we taught them how to shine their boots. and get things back in order. And we used the Fly Lady system to do it. It was a great testimonial. It's one of those that is going to go in my book one day. Anyway, folks, I've just been sitting here running my mouth for 40 minutes. It's lovely just to sit out here, let the breeze blow, and watch the birds. And y'all are sending me hearts. You're precious, just precious. I'll see you in the morning. We're going to bless our homes tomorrow morning. And we start the hot melt sprint tomorrow. So join us. Join us. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good week. We're going to get things done. And we're going to be calm, and we're going to have lots of patience. And it's going to be the most amazing week of your life. Because you took a few minutes today to take care of yourself. Yep, because you took time today to bless yourself with just a few minutes of downtime. See you tomorrow.